truth is, abundance isn't only about financial wealth. Abundance includes health, joy, loving relationships, purpose, and a soul connection to Source. Hoo-yah! You know, I love we come to Sunday, right? And we sing and we lift the spirit up and we see that we are capable of shifting, of changing, of transforming. We get a glimmer of this every Sunday, that we can do amazing things. And we see that light reflected in each other's eyes. And we leave here on Sunday feeling pretty darn invincible. That's right. And then Monday comes. Monday comes. And maybe you're back to work, maybe you're at home, and you're going for that cup of coffee, you know, and you get there and you look at the coffee pot and it's empty. Don't they know the rules? You drink the last one, you make the pot of coffee, right? Right? That's the rule. Or you're at home, you know, and your beloved didn't make your pods for you the night before, and you're like, oh, there's no, you know, I got to do all of this, right? And then you get through all of that, and you sit at your desk. Maybe you're looking through your mail. Maybe you get an email. Mine things come to me in email. Yikes. And maybe you get a bill. And you think, ugh, not this too. I can't afford this. And then maybe you look through your checking savings account and you go, you know what, I don't have the money for this bill. Or maybe because you are prosperous and conscious of abundance, maybe you do have the money in your accounts, but you know what, you're saying, I don't want to part with this money. I don't want to part with this money for this bill. And as those thoughts run through your mind, the feelings come up. The feelings start bubbling up of maybe a little frustration, maybe resentment, maybe some apathy. And in that small moment, there's fear and uncertainty. And in that moment, what we've done is we've moved out of the flow of abundance into the constriction of lack. We have constricted the amazing flood of riches simply by forgetting what we remembered every Sunday. We are God manifesting in glory. We are God manifesting in glory. We are God manifesting in glory, people. Amen. Thank you. You're making me work hard today, but that's all right. You know, we've come to believe that having money and material things are the very definition of abundance and prosperity. And ours is really to challenge those beliefs that keep us enslaved to our dependence on jobs that don't fulfill us, engaging in transactions for the purpose of material acquisition at the cost of our soul, and maybe working in an industry that is seen as successful but sucks the life out of us and has nothing to do with our divine purpose. Eric Butterworth, now you know I love Eric Butterworth, right? In his book, Spiritual Economics, he wrote this: "The grateful heart draws to itself great things. The ungrateful heart, the discouraged, complaining, covetous level of thought will draw to itself limited things." Now you may be thinking, well, if the money isn't available to pay the bill, how can I be grateful? And if I do have the money, but I'm not willing to release it because I have this sense that I'm going to need that for something else, how can I be grateful for not enough money? Well, Butterworth's got an answer for that too, you know. Give thanks from the awareness that there is always an all-sufficiency even within the insufficiency. What? Eric Butterworth was like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of his time. Let me just say that. This is amazing pearls because he's bold, he's righteous. He's saying that when we make a judgment about a situation, a person, an issue, a condition, that we need to check ourselves. Are we creating a meaning that is limiting or restrictive? He is reminding us that we have a choice. The choice is, do we awaken our conscience by flipping the script? Do we awaken our consciousness by flipping the script? You see, we can choose to view the situation from the lens of abundance. We have the power. We have the power to bless any issue or person, even when our human understanding is limited or we cannot see how it could be for us. Butterworth says to bless something or someone is to confer prosperity upon. Confer prosperity upon any issues in our lives. I love that. I've started writing it now in my closings. I usually say blessings. I'm now switching a little bit here and saying, conferring prosperity upon you. Doesn't that sound rich? Conferring prosperity. So imagine seeing that bill and consciously changing your awareness from not enough to gratitude. Gratitude for the service or product you used that created the bill. Gratitude for knowing that God is bigger than any bill you'd ever receive. Gratitude for understanding that there is nothing but divine law in action in this moment. Because divine law supports the impulse within us to express the Christ in the world. So by embodying our true nature, the universe conspires with us. The universe can't do anything else. And our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, in his book Prosperity, wrote this: God, which is the source of all, must be discerned and relied on, while dependence on material things must be eliminated from thought. So long as you depend on money alone, you are worshiping a false god and have not discerned the light. That's powerful, isn't it? And this doesn't mean, when I was young and I read things like this, I would think, oh, I've got to give everything away, right? I need to become a martyr and wear that horsehair shirt. No, that's not what they're saying. They lived abundant lives. The Fillmores did. What Fillmore is speaking to is where we find ourselves in this moment in society, chasing the almighty dollar. We've watched celebrities and social media influencers and news shows that tell us the only way to have a wonderful life is to get as much money as possible. But it's a myth. We don't have to sell our souls to be abundant. We don't have to engage in petty behaviors or envy of jealousy. We don't have to pretend we like our jobs simply to have money. Truth is, abundance isn't only about financial wealth. Abundance includes health, joy, loving relationships, purpose, and a soul connection to Source. You see, working 60, 70, 80 hours a week will get you money, but it's not going to bring you abundance. If your focus is to work as much as possible to succeed, the universe will simply support you and give you more of what you want, which is more work, my friends, more work. And we know this, right, from our third principle, right? We co-create through our thoughts held in mind, the faith that we hold on to, and what is in our hearts. And as we live our lives on planet Earth, sometimes we get this sense of being in a tug of war with ourselves. And mostly it's because when we're here, we're living in duality as divine human. The essence of who we are as divinity is expansive, ever-changing, wants to explore and experience all of it. But our humanity It wants to feel safe and secure. It wants to play by the rules and follow the formula for success. And from the purview of our humanity, it feels like sometimes we're having that bipolar moment when we feel that tug from spirit. We can see this outpicturing here in our own community. We want Unity Church of the Hills to remain as it's been for the last 26 years. We like that we know what to expect each Sunday, although I'm sure that's changing for some of you, but that's okay. We want to recognize the familiar faces we have become used to seeing. We want to sit in our same comfortable seats. We want to hear the same talks that made us feel good about ourselves. While our divine nature is calling us to expand and express love and compassion in the world, Spirit's call often comes as a spark of discontentment that bubbles up in our souls. Our divinity says there's more to my living on this planet than intellectual discourse and feeling comfortable. What? That's right. Spirit has been calling this community to be the awakened light in Austin. That's why I'm here. To support you in that transformation to being your truest self. Abundance is not a one-way flow to you. Abundance is circular, and it benefits those around you. And this is a sweet little quote from Butterworth. Giving is basically an attitude with which you touch things. Giving is basically the attitude in which you touch things. Giving from a place of lack creates lack. Giving from a place of knowing you are overflowing in riches creates more overflowing in riches. The universe is simply designed to give us more. The universe is simply conferring prosperity upon us. And if we claim that we are of the universe, then we too are designed to give more of ourselves. It seems contrary to logic that if you're wanting to receive more, the answer is to give more. But lest we forget, we are all energy. Everything is energy. And energy must be allowed to flow. Imagine someone decides to take a nice deep breath of air. So there's this inhalation. And then they say, you know what, I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm gonna hold on to this, just in case there's a limited supply of air in the future, right? We would call them crazy, right? We may have thoughts like, good luck with that. I'll call 911 after you fainted, right? And we laugh at that insanity, but we do the same thing with money. Did you hear me? We do the same thing with money. We receive money in and we hold on to it. And then we wonder why we may be financially struggling or not flush with the resources that we expected. Simple. To be in the flow of the divine, we must continue to give and give with a joyful soul. And each time you give, don't give from resentment. No. Give and see it prospering the person or the organization that you're giving to. And imagine every time someone gives to you, they're seeing you prosper and becoming abundant. Several weeks ago, Laura Zolke spoke about shifting how we live from the outside in to the inside out. And she was speaking about a purpose-filled life isn't about measuring up to the world's expectations of us. Laura was speaking to the richness of life we can have as we breathe into the reality that it unfolds from within. The kingdom of heaven, my friends, is within us. It's within us. And within the kingdom of heaven is the energetic flow of life, renewal, and abundance. It's not a place where you achieve enlightenment, walk on water, and call it done. No. The kingdom within becomes richer and fuller as you step into the flow of spirit. It becomes this generous interaction that you have with others, giving with the consciousness that you are touching another's life. Now, as your minister, I give of my time, I give of my talents, my treasure, my love, my life, and my wisdom. And I share this from a place of giving that I know that I'm touching another's life. And in that moment, it's really clear that I am living my divine purpose. I am in the divine flow, expansive, and in the knowing that God is my source. God is my source. And I believe as I give, so I shall receive. It's one of the spiritual truths that our Wayshower Jesus taught us in the New Testament. And I'm quoting it from Luke chapter 6, verse 38. And he said, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." Now, when Graham and I got together and we started giving as a couple, we dreamt about, if we won lotto, what would we do with all that money? Who would we give it to? And we had this fun time of just brainstorming of the lives that we could change and impact. And I saw how super excited we got. And from that list, what we said was, well, what could we do from the place of the resources that we have now? And so we culled down that list a little bit, and it became our secret giving list. And then we kind of expanded a little bit more so that it became a monthly practice, and we're kind of in that flow. And so today, we still sit down monthly to figure out who are we giving gifts to. Now, it's allocated in our budget, in our monthly budget. We know the amount that we're going to be giving, but it changes who gets it, And it's like this really fun time of just being in that powerful place of we have the resources to support other people who are doing good in the world or who are in need. That's pretty powerful. And yes, we've added UCOH onto our list now, so just so you're aware. So I see giving as alchemy. Alchemy is this seemingly magical process of transformation and creation, but it's really spiritual law. It really is. As I give in love and joy, what comes back to me is usually surprisingly wonderful and greater than what I give. Graham and I were out to lunch a few weeks ago at one of our little places that we go on Sunday afternoons. It's got a nice little outdoor place. And we go to pay the bill, and the bill was already taken care of by some angels, don't know who. I'm like, okay, well, thank you. Wonderful gifts of spirit. This week, I received a gift from my mom's estate. I had released being in control of what it should look like, what I was entitled to, right? The story behind it all. And I really discerned I needed to show up in love and just honoring that my mom's money, it's her money. It's her right to do with it as she chooses to, right? And knowing that it all comes from source. It all comes from source. And then we were blessed with this amazing gift this week that we weren't expecting, that will bless us. That's about being in the flow, my friends. Butterworth reminds us that divine order isn't about expecting miracles. It's simply bringing you together with that which you are looking for. Bringing you together with that which you are looking for. So I'm inviting you, be that which you've searched your whole life for. Be that. Be aware that it is up to you to confer prosperity upon yourself and everyone you meet. Create those shifts in your beliefs that say, I don't have enough. Shift it to, I can never outgive God. I can never outgive Source. And step into the divine flow by being a conduit of generosity in all you say and in all you do. So over the next few weeks, yes, there's homework. Over the next few weeks, I want you to be conscious to be conscious. So every time that you pay for something, confer prosperity upon it. Anytime that you receive money, confer prosperity upon it. Every time you check your bank balance, confer prosperity upon it. Each time you pay a bill, confer prosperity upon it. What this does is it brings to your consciousness, to your level of awareness, that it's all source. It's all source. And what you're going to find after a few weeks of this is you're going to notice that money no longer has a hold over you as you live your life and the choices that you make. You're going to get this sense of feeling expansive, full of possibilities. There is power as we confer prosperity upon each other, upon ideas, upon situations. And when we do this practice, what we're doing is we are embodying the archetype of the benevolent king and the benevolent queen, granting prosperity to all. And guess what? That can only enrich our kingdom. That's what we're about. Let's prepare for meditation.